Hi Adam.
Hey, Jelle, how are
Hey, how
you?
you doing?
It's good to see you again.
Yes, it's been a year. Last
Yeah,
year we
because
recently had the Next Web 2016, and actually we've met at the Next Web 2015. And
yeah,
by then you've shared your story on how Prezi started, and you've
yes,
given us
my
some
first
tips and
year.
tricks. And
Yeah,
actually, I asked you if there were any scoops or surprises, and I can remember you mentioning, well, we don't really have surprises now to share, but we will share the big bangs when they happen. And now you've reached out to me because you have an announcement to make. So I'm really
yes,
curious. Tell me, what's the big bang you want to share today?
yes. We've been working really hard, really, really hard, and we have a new product launched just now called Prezi Business.
Okay.
It's a fantastic, very professional, teams-focused product that would really, really empower sales and marketing teams primarily to do fantastic, sales pitches and results. We worked really hard. We understood how they work, how they function, and we saw an amazing growth recently in sales and marketing usage in the Prezi user groups. So that really helped us to understand that this is a fantastic opportunity.
Okay, great. So Prezi business, and you say it's really team
Yes.
focused. Um, Elaborate on that. In what way is the Prezi business more team focused than the Prezi as we know it by now?
We actually built it from ground up to enable teams to work together. One key aspect is that we understood as we talked to sales and marketing teams that not everybody edits presentations. Somebody creates a lot of content, somebody else just deletes the content they don't need on a page. Somebody just puts some comments on the things they want to change, and somebody just delivers. So understanding these roles was quite crucial for us, and it allowed us to create experiences that really support this. For example, if there's a detail in a presentation that you don't like that much, you can just comment on that detail, and your team member gets a notification live on Slack. If you guys use Slack to collaborate, and just click on it, you zoom right away to that thing, and you can change that data. This is one thing.
So
Then, for example,
an API connection between Slack
yes,
and the Prezi
yes.
business.
Yes, exactly. Then,
Nice.
for example, you do remote presentations, which you can do beautifully in HD quality using Prezi's technology just from the browser. The really cool thing is that you see live analytics of your Prezis. Like if did they actually open your Prezi? Where are they? Which part was working well? Which was performing poorly? So when you iterate with your team, what are the things you need to improve for the next pitch? You have like actual data to back those changes.
And you can see who opened your Prezi as well.
Yeah, yeah, it's set up in a way that you send specific links to all your prospects, and then you get like very specific data who did how on your presentations. So that's also really useful.
Is it then connected to a Mailchimp, an example that, or how can I send a link to my mailing list and then see who opened it? How does that go? How does that work?
Well, so we primarily focus on sales and marketing teams who do like sales pitches. So you create a unique link for your each prospect,
Ah, okay, yeah.
right? And then you get data on your prospect, how were they engaged, and how many people on that link saw it, etc.
Okay.
So that's very sweet. And then there's actually something which has been in Prezi since the beginning, but it took us some time to understand the value. So as you know, Prezi started as a personal tool for me. Then we mostly focused on big stage conferences, talking at people, right? And then education was very strong because it really functioned well in the classroom. And what we have seen recently in this big growth in usage and in business usage is that what actually people enjoy in Prezi is that you can do a conversation with it. You see, like a few years ago, sorry, I start this again. So when you want to buy a smartphone, for example, you actually look up most of the data online before you go to the store. You know more or less about the phone, pretty much. And when you walk to the store, and if the sales rep comes to you and starts to list all the things that you already know, it's really annoying. You like
Mm.
hate it. I just want to ask this question, right?
Yeah.
And the tricky thing with sales presentation is that if it's a slideshow that you prepared last night, it's a little bit a similar feeling. And of course, a long time ago, people had to do this because you couldn't look up information. But nowadays, these things are much more conversations. You know, you just want to fill in the gaps that people don't know, or if they misunderstood something, you want to build a story around it, right? So with Prezi, you know, we just zooming out to the overview, zooming to the section that people are actually interested in, listening to them, having a conversation. This is something that we found was really resonating well with our professional audience. And this is not something you do that much on like 200, people, big stage presentations, because it's part of the conversation. You can do some of it. But in a room setting, in a conference setting, when it's like 10 people, it's just much more natural that you can just, go with the flow, have a conversation, and use the visuals in your Prezi to support your conversation. So this is the really strong, interesting aspect that we are beyond a team focus that we are enabling in Prezi Business, that it's really built for a good conversation over your presentation rather than talking at people. You're talking with people. We did look up, this is not just from us, we actually tried to do a lot of research on this. Is it real? Does it make sense? And I can send you, if you're interested in some market research and analytics research from companies where they prove it, that if you have a conversation...
Send it.
I send all the data. But factually, this is actually quite interesting. So this is really the magical thing, I think, with Prezi Business. It's team at heart, and it's very conversational.
So you mentioned this advanced collaboration. Is it like in Google Docs, so colleagues can work real time in the same project, and I can also see the changes they make in the project, even if they're at another office?
Yes, other part of the world, it's very, very real time, very collaborative. The cloud saves you. It's a very smooth experience. And I guess what is also a good value, that because Prezis can be played back in the browsers, right? When you do a remote presentation, people don't need to install these, conferencing tools or like remote video clients, etc.
What is
you can
it?
Just send a link.
What is that? The remote presentation? How does that work?
But you send the link and people open it in their browsers, and then you can control it remotely as you speak, and then it's full HD, it's beautiful, it's rendered locally in their browsers. It's much more experience than screen sharing, for example.
And they can hear my voice as well?
No, you use Skype for that.
Last year I asked you where do you want to be in 5 years from now, and then you told me you have a new app released, Nutshell. So I really want to hear how's that going on. And you said growth is the main thing we want to focus on now. And at that time you had 55 million users. How's that going?
Yes. We are at 75 million. So that's a big number. Yes, if you look at the year-on-year growth, 25%, so that's quite big. So we are excited there. Then we have 1.6 billion Prezi views. This means this many Prezis have been viewed on our website. This is also a 60% growth about year on year. So we're on a really beautiful growth stage. And here is the really nice thing, that what we see happening, of course, Prezi grew very fast in conferences and in education, and it had a slower time getting into, of course, slide world and businesses. And now that the generation that use Prezi and universities, millennials, are going to workplaces and bringing their tools with them. And we can really see this effect starting, that in sales and marketing, we have check the number here, we have a 200% year-to-date growth in that segment. So it's a beautiful time for us, being a cloud productivity space. It's just really nice. So Nutshell?
Yeah.
Nutshell was about creating tiny stories that use the same idea, using space to share your story, to make it more memorable, like Prezi uses space to make your presentation more memorable. We had beautiful feedback and lots of usage, but we didn't have the growth that we really hoped for. So we didn't pull it off. It's a very stable app. It's on the App Store, but we are not actively pursuing it now. We learned a lot from the ideas, how we can integrate videos into presentation much better. So it gave us a lot of knowledge, but the actual product is not flying.
There was I think mentioning the numbers just yet is already answering the question I had via Twitter. One question from Floris Lefevre. His Twitter handle is CRolfBE. And he's asking, it's in Dutch, so I'm going to translate it on the spot. I'm wondering if they're still growing. Prezi was used a lot 4 years ago, but I have the feeling that it's being used. I see it less now. Is it used less than? So is there a decline? But actually, you already mentioned that it's.
No, it's a beautiful growth. And so this is actually really interesting if you're an entrepreneur, that the different stages of the product, how we started with conference speeches, and then education was, as I said, really strong. And then then maybe our friend from Twitter went to a business workplace, and it took some time before these things can come over. But it's a really beautiful story. We hear a lot from our business customers that they actually saw their kids using Prezi at school, and they were like, "Wow, this is better than my tools," and they brought it over to the businesses. But the really big movement, the big numbers, I think, is thanks to the millennials, to the workplaces.
So, what is the business model of Prezi at this moment, and how is Prezi Business going to change that?
So Prezi business model is based on the idea that you pay for your privacy. So you get all the features basically in the free product, but if you have secrets, which probably means you're a business, we would like to have a little bit of the profit you make. So that's the idea with Prezi product. Prezi business is different because we from ground up set it up as a Teams tool. So when you want to purchase Prezi business, you have to talk to our sales rep, and we will create a package for you, which might involve training, helping transitioning, maybe even helping transitioning some of your PowerPoints into Prezi business. So we really want to make sure that if you buy this product for your team, then you actually really use it and you're happy. So we will, case by case basis, set up a price and a package that we think will really make you successful using Prezi business.
And who are you targeting then? The marketing and sales professionals?
This is primarily marketing and sales professionals.
From
yes.
what type of companies? From how many people on can it be interesting?
I think if you're like a team of 5 and up, then it's like really ideal for your work.
But it's always a custom package. You won't find a price list on your site, and if this, then that, and addition is this, and user extra is YZ, etc.
No, it's a custom price. We really need to understand in a conversation with you because it's really important for us that you end up actually using the product and not just paying for it.
There's a saying going Dutch. The saying is not is not for no reason. The Dutch people are always really curious. Okay, but what's the price? Can you mention a in between or an average? Or?
I would say that in the sales enablement space, because this is more than a presentation tool now, it will be very competitive. So I think we'll find there. But I want to say numbers because we really, we want to talk to you and then develop it from there. Of course, there will be a number in the end because we will ask.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you should. Otherwise, all the development needs to be paid. Right? Yeah. Okay. I really enjoyed talking to you again. I must admit that I'm still very curious about what is this Prezi business is going to cost me if I want to use it. And if I do a recap of what we've spoken to, it's a special package for businesses. It's called Prezi Business. You have target insights, so you can exactly see who's using it, who's viewing it, what actions do they take, and what have they seen and what didn't they see. You can present remotely. You don't need a Chromecast or an Apple TV. You just need an internet connection. And you can send a link to the person you want to show your Prezi to, and you can call or Skype and walk them through, and they see on their screen in their browser exactly where you are on the presentation. So
and beyond all this, I would say, which is really the true unique power of our format, which is this just one big canvas, no slides, that you can build a conversation. And all the studies we collected, they really prove it, that if you achieve to have a conversation in the sales process, it's just much more effective. People enjoy it much more, and you will close much more many deals.
And how is this conversation starting with the Prezi then? Can you?
Yeah, I mean, it's simply when you want to use a slideshow, it's very hard to jump to the different sections, right? Because you have to skip pages. It doesn't look very elegant, and you also might not know by heart where things are. So you always kind of fall back and stick to a pre-made narrative that you designed last night, and it's
that's actually quite true.
But it's, you know, are they nodding? Are they not nodding? I'm lost a bit, right? In Prezi, you just go to your overview, you start a conversation, you fill out what are they interested in, then you zoom to that section, then you look up again. Are they still nodding? Are they with you? Shall I go deeper? Then you dive deeper, one level down, you talk about something specific about the analytics feature, maybe something, you know, if you're selling that. Then you see you're losing them, they're not much into that, so you're zooming out. It's like a real conversation. When I see that you're not nodding, I stop my sentences, then I lost you. So this is how we really function as humans in a group conversation, and it just feels much better. So please do try it.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to try it. I'm just curious, but it just pops in right now. We can add a YouTube video still to Prezi, right? I assume also to Prezi Business. When I am calling you and I've sent you the link to the presentation, so you can present remotely and you're watching the same presentation as I do, and then I click play on a YouTube video. Will it play on your side as well?
Absolutely. It really will do the same things as you see on your end. That's the whole idea. So it's really stable in that sense that you can have control of the visuals that others see. Absolutely.
And then you have this finalizing the recap, this advanced collaboration that you can work together with teams, because as you mentioned, everybody in a team is focusing on a different. One is doing the visuals, one is doing the text, and one is doing one is going to present. So you can all work together.
Your Slack, if that's your tool, use email, you know, whatever works in your team, we make sure that it works with the product.
If people want to try it, if people are curious about the exact numbers and want to discuss that with you, how much training they need, and etc., how can they reach out to you or to Prezi? What's the best way to go?
Yeah, just go to prezi.com. They will see, you know, how to select. You know, look for Prezi Business, and then there will be all the information needed. They will see much more information, so they don't have to get all the features listed from the call, and then they can get in touch with our people to kind of find all the details that are unclear, etc.
Adam, thank you very much for sharing and for giving us the scoop for the Netherlands.
Thank you. It's always very nice talking to you, and I really do hope we will get you over to Budapest and see our beautiful offices one day.
If I'm in Budapest, I would definitely contact you, and I'm going to drink a cup of coffee and see a live demo of Prezi Business. Although, with remote presenting, I don't need to be in your office, but of course it would be nice.
Then you miss the sunshine and the office. So.
Exactly. So definitely looking forward to meet you there.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.